Let's keep calm and mother on. Mothering is way too important to do alone and way too serious to be serious all the time. My name is Christy Thomas, and I am here shoulder to shoulder with you, mothering and enjoying life together. This is the podcast where you can focus on being mindful and taking a deep breath with me and learning new things so you can pause and savor the amazing life you already have. Do you ever wonder why I say I want you to pause and savor the amazing life you already have? That's because it was a really hard lesson for me to learn. If you ever wondered why I started this podcast, I think I've given you like half an answer before. Like, I wanted to be who I needed to be when I was younger. And that is true. That is definitely true. I needed this version of me a couple of years ago. I've always really loved spending time with my kids. I have been the kid person, right? Like the stranger at the grocery store who can strike up a conversation with his toddler so that the mom can finish loading the stuff on the belt in a non-creepy way. Spending time with kids has always felt rejuvenating to me. Spending time with adults hasn't always felt that way, but spending time with kids, making connections, getting messy, enjoying their childhood, always enjoyable. And I really did enjoy my kids' childhood. I enjoyed building blocks and making cookies and going to playgrounds. I even had this park playground passport system. I think I've talked about it before, where in the summers we would make a folder and rate the playgrounds and make it a goal to visit so many. I didn't mind listening to my kids talk about YouTube videos. I didn't always get the laundry done. And my meals have never been the fanciest compared to some of my other mommy friends, right? But that's okay, because I was all in on making memories. We built small worlds, face painted. If there was something that I could say yes to, I said yes to it really easily. I knew deep down, and I've always known deep down in my core, that I wanted my kids to come back home when they were grown-ups. I wanted a really strong connection to them. And that really strong connection is made through play with kids. That play is totally the glue of the parent-child connection. Because biologically, that's how a kid's brain is wired. So we played really hard together. They helped out, like they were kids. They were like 5, 6, newborn, like little tiny kids here. Okay. And we played really hard and we laughed a lot. And it was a great time. We closed down so many parks. Like we played until sunset. And then in 2015, I found myself taking a pregnancy test at the YMCA during my kids' swim lessons. And I was surprisingly pregnant with baby number 4. And it was filled with all sorts of emotions as a surprise pregnancy, but married. So like excited, right? Like somebody new. We all fell in love, really. But as the pregnancy progressed, it ended in a miscarriage. And there was a lot of grief. And there probably still is some grief, right? Because grief comes in waves like that. And all of this was happening while my husband wasn't home, right? He was there to help make the baby, but not there for finding out that we were pregnant or that the baby had passed on. There was a really amazing group of women that came and mowed my grass and brought me ice cream and gave my kids sleepovers for a couple nights. And so my kids were 8, 7, and 2.5. And I carried on. I did the things I needed to do. I flew cross country with the 3 of them for my brother's wedding. just a couple of weeks later, and I carried on. My extended family tried to help, my mom, my mother-in-law. I mean, everyone did their best, their very, very best to love me. There wasn't a spot to pause in all of that, really. And I kept planning all the things. We just kept going. I went to the playground, but I started counting the minutes, and I was a little bit more antsy and not really fully present. I wasn't 100% enjoying myself. Like, I knew I wanted to be there for these amazing 3 kids I had. I wanted to be in all these great memories with them, but my heart was a little bit broken. And I just kept myself so busy that I didn't have time to breathe. I just remember the slog of those days of not knowing exactly what was happening. And I remember that I didn't really laugh. And I didn't really want to play anymore. But already, even on social media and stuff, I had a Periscope back in the day, and all this was happening, and I was already building my reputation for being the mom who loved her kids and enjoyed her kids. And I would do Periscope videos about playing dice games with math. And all that was true, but I didn't really want to do it anymore. I was going through the motions. And about 9 months later, my husband stopped me as I was about to go out for some groceries, I think, or takeout. And he said, "You just never seem happy anymore." And I wanted to get defensive, and I wanted to slam the door. Instead, I drove to a parking lot, and I got a gluten-free cupcake, and I called a friend. We just had this conversation where I could say it all, and she had kids that were older than mine, and she just reminded me that it was going to be okay. I wasn't alone. I'm not sure how she made out my words in between my cries. That she'd also gone through tough seasons where she lost herself completely and found herself. There was hope, and that there was so much room to grow. So slowly, I started adding tiny daily habits to bring me back to life. Luckily, it was also around this time, a couple months later, that my husband suggested the daily running streak that we did together. I'm still running. He had to pause his because of submarine life. That helped, the daily running streak. I wanted to feel human again, and I needed to believe that I had a value other than just giving birth to a baby. It seems odd to say, but I really had to work on that. Like, I had these 3 amazing kids. I had an amazing life. I was already worthy. I am worthy, and you're worthy. And I just had to discover how to pause and find it again so I could savor the amazing life I already had. I discovered deep breathing and how to tap into this big, giant well of self-compassion and kindness through tiny acts of mindfulness, like noticing when I was washing hot dishes, praying for my family when I folded the laundry, setting alarms on my phone to remind me that with every breath I take, there was love. And then I started sharing it all. I started sharing with hashtag 60-second self-care, and I started building this community. You guys started gathering in a way that made it feel like there was a community that also understood that by 60 seconds at a time, you could feel a little bit more human. And then the podcast grew out of it. And I just wanted to keep reminding other moms that might be faking joy in motherhood, that if they just take care of themselves first, then the real joy will discover. It's just a diamond in the rough right now. It might be clouded up by some big things. You might need a therapist. But through tiny daily actions, those became the anchors to my day to savor the life that I had. Wanted to play again. I found joy in making the memories that I was good at making. I knew it was a privilege to make them, and I wanted to be in the moment. I wanted to be able to make all the inside jokes again with my husband about raising our amazing kids. And sometimes crazy kids. No parenting book that I read, and boy, did my Amazon cart send a lot to me, okay? No parenting book that I read, no self-help book, nothing, no homeschool book could help me find this. What it took was actual action. Not a lot of action, like tiny actions, but just sprinkled all day long to remind myself that I was a full and worthy human, full of love, that it wasn't an accident that I have these kids that I have, that they're totally the right kids for me. The science, the miracle that of their DNA, that they made it here, like they made it. They're alive. Let's enjoy this moment. I want to coach you on how to be more mindful and present to savor this moment. Maybe it's as simple as just wiggling your toes so you can feel part of your body supported by the amazing planet that we live on, because you're not alone. You are exactly the right mom for your kids. Your kids are exactly the right kids for you. And I'm thankful and humbled that you're here and that you listened to this story, this hard, ugly feeling story to me. But life got breathed back in, right? In the cracks, that's where the light shines through. From your scar, there's a story and a hope and a purpose to teach someone else. Those are some of my core beliefs. If you take the time to email me right now, I will send you a document of my favorite and easiest and most nourishing 60-second self-care activities, my go-tos. I want to inspire you to take the tiniest action. That's why the podcast ends with self-care ideas and family connection ideas. But if you email me, I will send you a document that isn't anywhere else. Just tell me that you heard my story. Now let's talk about your self-care. Your self-care for this episode is to go on YouTube, and research something that you want to learn. Maybe it's not YouTube for you, but learn how to make an awesome charcuterie board or a monochromatic makeup look, or how to fishtail braid your hair. I'm sure there is something that you are curious and novel about, but you're a little bit scared to do because you're someone's mom. So just be brave and be bold and practice being a full human with curiosity. That's your self-care. And family connection, right? Because play is the glue. I want you guys to do Hokey Pokey. Yeah, the Hokey Pokey dance. But instead of when you're doing the body parts, you can do the original song depending on how long of an attention span your kids have. Or you could just do everyone's names, right? Like put Emily in, take Emily out, put Emily in, and she shakes it all about. You do the Hokey Pokey and you turn yourself around. That's what it's all about. Okay, so use your family names. Everyone loves hearing their names, especially if you have like amazing family nicknames for your kids, terms of endearment that you're probably going to outgrow. Use them. Help them feel seen and so very loved. Well, now you know a little bit more about me. Once again, I am a little bit nervous to be this vulnerable and upload it. Apparently, February is the month of me doing hard things on this podcast. Like I said a couple weeks ago, I know that you can't be a perfect mom. So all you can do is praise your progress. We need to celebrate our effort. Now you know why I believe that so very, very much. Noticing my effort changed everything. You are not a finished product, and neither am I. Thank goodness. Just thank goodness. We can all ride the roller coasters of life, the things that get thrown at us, and we can keep calm and mother on together. If you've listened to this all the way through and got to this and note, please feel free to message me on Instagram or send me an email. That's all in the show notes. Or the comment section of the Keep Calm Mother On website. Whatever it is, I would love to hear you. I love conversation with you. You're important. Have a great day.